Welcome to the Love Mondays podcast. My goal is to bring inspiring and authentic guests on the show who can have a profound impact on my viewers and listeners. They can help everyone love their Mondays and be truly excited and intentional about the way they live every single day. In this world where many people do not love what they're doing and endure their jobs and professions, I think there is a unique and fulfilling path for everyone. The world is extremely complex and has been through a lot in the last couple of years. Mental health challenges and anxiety are on the rise in most generations, and it is important for each and every one of us to recognize this and to help our families, social circles, and businesses. I have studied the habits of high performers, and one of the habits that consistently appears is some form of meditation. I have personally started my own meditation practice, and it has been a massive help to me. My mind was always and continues to be racing, and it's a great way to get still, calm myself down, slow down, and focus on the things that matter. My guest today, Bhanthe Saranapala, is an international monk, teacher, and speaker. He is known as the urban Buddhist monk and counsels and teaches individuals seeking assistance and kindness. This modern monk teaches loving kindness meditation to calm and relax individuals' stressed and busy lives. He is one of the reasons I adopted a meditation practice. During COVID-19, Bhanthe did a daily virtual Dharma talk and meditation that helped so many lives. We will discuss what Dharma means. I want to share the amazing kindfulness of this amazing man, who I consider one of the most happiest and giving people I know, despite the daily hardships that he witnesses and speaks about. Bhanthe, thank you for being on my podcast.
Oh, thank you, Ron, for having me on your podcast.
Excellent. So I want to start with a simple but profound question. I want to help the world love Mondays, or make Mondays as exciting as Fridays. So you seem to always have a smile on your face, and I'd love your advice on helping people who maybe are not loving their Mondays.
We should love Mondays because, like how I always wish good morning, happy Monday, and sharing a positive thought or my own observation, my own thought that I think would be inspiring the people. And I know majority of the people don't look forward to Monday. They always look forward to Friday. But Monday could be the best day if you can get done a lot of stuff on Monday. You will feel 1,000 times much better for the rest of the days of the week. So we have to start Monday with positivity, with a good feeling, with a good mindset, with good attitude. So when you get done a lot of stuff on Monday, then you don't have much on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there's no stress. Wishing somebody a happy Monday is like a saying, enjoy your root canal. It's painful, but it's saving your life. It's not going to affect the good teeth, okay? So it's going to save your good teeth. So if you could go through this stressful Monday with positive mindset, with hope, with inspiration, with motivation, and the rest of the days are going to be amazing.
Yeah, no, I like your example of the root canal where, look, it's painful, but it leads to good things.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a lot about mindset and positivity. And one of the things that underlying there is it becomes an intentional choice, right? So even the words we use are very important. Happy Monday. Like how many people actually say happy Monday? But if you start saying it, your mindset's starting to shift. And you talk about, hey, getting hard things done first to help you go through. So we're going to talk a lot more about that. Yeah. Okay, so I'd love to start with your story. At what age did you become a monk?
Ron, I became a monk at the age of 10. Now, I'm 50 plus, okay? So I have been a monk for 40 years. I received my novice ordination at the age of 10 in Bangladesh. And then my teacher sent me to Sri Lanka for monastic training and education. So what's the inspiration behind ordination, being a monk at such a young age? Well, I always had this good feeling for the monastic environment. I would spend much of my time in the temple, in our village temple. I strongly believe in my previous life, I had been a monk. And I always had this feeling. But in Bangladesh, a boy becomes a monk for a short time by following the cultural belief. Cultural belief and practice is every boy, Buddhist boy, should become monk for a short time. So when you become a monk, you learn a lot of good stuff. So you learn to do things on time, punctuality. You get a good discipline. So that impacts your life, and you learn about good things. You learn about bad things. Then they train you to refrain from doing the bad things, and they encourage you to do the good things, and they encourage you to practice meditation and etc. I don't think I had that much understanding when I became a monk at the age of 10, but it was in Sri Lanka when I started doing the early morning chanting and meditation with more than 100 monks. It was a daily practice, like all the monks should be up by 4:30 in the morning. And then from 5 to 6, we all had to gather in the meditation room to do morning chanting and meditation. So one day I was doing this meditation, and I felt so much good. Like I felt very happy. It was inspiring listening to the monks do the chanting. It was relaxing, calming. And I believe it was at that moment I truly found my spiritual calling. So I decided to remain as a monk and focused on my studies, on my training. But growing up as a teen monk was kind of a struggle. It was hard, there was so many things we were not supposed to do, and we were asked not to go there, go here, or talk to these people, that people, and especially not talking to girls, not looking at them. That was quite challenging, So yes. I was kind of thinking, what's the heck, what kind of life is that? Why am I here?
Yeah, no, it's so interesting just reflecting from my own personal journey, right? And I used to consider meditation and a little bit strange, just to be very honest, but in the last few years, it's really crystallized how important it is. And even the skills you've talked about. Look, yeah. You're a teenager, a preteen, and you're waking up at 4:30 in the morning and chanting, and think about the discipline that builds, right? Because for me, one of the other books I reference a lot is called The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. And he talks about, hey, that peaceful time in the morning is one of the only times you get to just reflect, be quiet, and you run the day you want. And you talked about getting things done on Monday early. It's a way to just say, I'm going to take control of my thoughts and my actions, and also be disciplined, right? Because one of the challenges, a lot of people say they're starved for time, but we're spending time on Instagram and scrolling through Facebook and Netflix. So it really is more in our control than we actually usually talk about, right? And that's where, for me, I really connect those disciplined habits that now you're able to kind of have this outlook where you're like, look, I can control my day.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which is
Well,
really
it happened the same thing with me, even those days. I was very fortunate to have some amazing monks, teachers, senior monks, who dedicated their lifetime energy to the practice of meditation. One of my meditation teachers, he passed away some years ago at the age of 96. This monk would practice meditation, I would say 21 to 22 hours every day. I have seen this monk meditating in the night, doing walking meditation, because my small hut, kuti, we call kuti, a small hut, my cabin was located near his kuti. And I have seen how he was doing walking meditation, sitting meditation, silent meditation, and that kind of inspired me. So, middle of the night, because of that inspiration, motivation, seeing this monk doing the meditation, I would get up middle of the night. I would go on the top of a stone, and there was a biggest stone in that monastery, and I would just meditate there while the whole world is sleeping, middle of the night. All you can hear is just some dogs barking, some night birds singing some songs, some animals walking, and it was peaceful. And you're not distracted by anything. And your mind goes into this trance, this state of calmness, not disturbed by anything. And especially, how our mind gets harassed, I would say, or assailed by 5 negative emotions, I would say negative thoughts. These are known as 5 hindrances or 5 obstacles. The first obstacle is the sensual pleasure, and second obstacle is anger or aversion. Third obstacle is sloth and torpor, laziness and sleepiness. The fourth obstacle is restlessness and worries. And the fifth obstacle is doubt. So when you meditate during this time, with vigilance, you have this real motivation, inspiration, like you are into meditation, then at that moment, these obstacles, hindrances begin to disappear. The moment your mind becomes free from these 5 obstacles, hindrances, you are at a state of bliss. And what's the nature, the feeling of this bliss? Sometimes we can't express it in words. It's just an amazing feeling, like peaceful feeling. Like this bliss, this peace cannot be found in the shopping mall or movies or party or nightclubs. That is a different kind of pleasure. But this joy, this peace is not dependent on something outside there. It's internal. It's inside job. Like you free your mind from these defilements. Like there's no greed at that moment, no anger, no jealousy, no ego, nothing. Anyone can experience this, by the way. Anyone can practice this. Anyone can get to experience this amazing feeling. This feeling is not conditioned by anything. It is what it is. It is like a natural feeling. Now imagine the moment your mind becomes completely free from thoughts. It's a negative thoughts, negative emotions. All there is just the positivity. So this is a way of living a life happily, joyfully. It's like I always remind people, the whole world is hating one another. People are angry. People are trying to hurt one another. So among such people, in such an environment, if you can make yourself to live happily without hating anyone, without getting angry with anyone, without seeking any sensual pleasure, then you become healthy. Physically, emotionally, mentally, you become a stronger person, a healthier person. So this is something I always like to promote. It's like being kind to yourself, loving yourself, So even I would say, like, we started this conversation with loving Monday. So if you really love your Monday, get up early in the morning, meditate for half an hour or 1 hour. It will give you immense energy, inspiration, motivation, calmness. Then with this, your mind becomes stable, and the mind, which is full of positive energy, joy, happiness, peaceful, that mind is going to become very creative. That mind is going to become the source of strength, energy, the motivation, inspiration to get going for the rest of the days of the week.
Yeah, no, I think there's so many powerful things there, right? So for me, again, I didn't really understand meditation. I thought it was a little bit of a waste of time because I didn't understand the benefits you've talked about. So you've talked about, okay, all the 5 hindrances,
Yeah.
and essentially things like worry and doubt and all these things that kind of consume us.
Yeah.
You're freeing yourself and letting your mind go to the positive side, to the energy, to creativity.
Yeah.
And there's so many other benefits I've read about, living a longer life, healthier life, more energy in your day. And those are things I didn't quite understand. I thought it was just kind of getting still and not thinking. But my interpretation is you've done that to give yourself that peaceful feeling. And I know that peaceful, maybe not as peaceful as you, but I do get a peaceful feeling. But it unlocks the rest of the day for me to be my most creative self.
Yeah.
Right? It's very hard to define until you experience it. And then you also talked about a practice, right?
Yeah.
And I always talk about, look, when you go to the gym once, you're not going to get results. But if you go consistently over a period of time, you start getting profound results. And is meditation similar to that? Like, at what point do you start feeling that?
It depends on how you practice it. Nobody can experience peace or happiness right away. Meditation is a work in progress. We have to understand the fact we are training our mind for something greater experience or higher experience, higher consciousness, peace, happiness, joy, relief, you name it. All the positive things begin to manifest in the mind. When the mind becomes free from all the impure thoughts. When I say impure or impurity, we practice meditation to purify the mind, to clean the mind, let's say, for better understanding, to clean the mind. When we say clean the mind, so what's wrong with my mind? Does it mean my mind is not clean? Well, you know, whether your mind is clean or not, pure or impure. If you're getting angry, if you're jealous, if you have cravings, desires, greed, these are the symptoms of, or the signs of, impure mind. These are the negative emotions, negative thoughts causing the problems to come into being in our life. So the moment you choose to clean these negativities from your mind, it depends on the speed or intensity. How intense are you in this practice? Let's say you have a huge room to clean. Can you clean it within a second? No, it's impossible. So maybe with modern technology, you could do it, but modern technology cannot do that work for your mind. So cleaning the mind, purifying the mind takes time. This is a journey. This is an inner journey. So you have to go step by step. So don't worry. Don't rush to go to the second step, third step, or the last step of this ladder. Just try to get on to the first step of the ladder and master it and feel it. I feel good here. Okay. So it gives you energy, it gives you hope, it gives you light. Okay. Now with the mastery of the first step, now let me climb the second step. So again, there's no rush, and take your time, master it, and then go to the third one, fourth one, step by step. So you can eventually go to the top of this ladder, and you can climb to the top of the roof where you feel free. So meditation is also like that. And at the beginning of meditation, once you close your eyes and once you try to do mindful breathing, the very first thing you realize, you feel the pain in the body, you feel the back pain or knee pain. I thought, meditation is a cool thing to do, but now I experience pain. What is this? Where does it come from? Well, all this has been suppressed. When you begin to meditate, what happens is suppressed experiences, feelings begin to surface, come out. So don't be afraid of such things. So what you have to do is observe them. You don't have to identify them as me, I, myself. Just, observe them and then slowly clean, let them go. You don't need to hang on to them. This is how you clean the mind. And then when the negative thoughts come, unwholesome thoughts pop up, negative emotions, again, observe, be mindful, and try to maybe instead of getting into conversation, just by observing the negative thought is going to help negative thought becoming bigger, stronger. Okay? So you stop it right there. So that is the power of mindfulness. If a negative thought pops up, let's say anger, and after observing it, maybe you could just simply give a kind reminder to yourself, may I be free from anger, this upset feeling. So the moment you say, may I be free from this anger, this animosity, hostility, aversion, hatred, and may I be full of love, kindness, and compassion. And then your mind begins to listen. Your brain begins to listen. Your brain begins to fire neurons based on what you're saying.
Yeah, they say one of the only things we can control is our own thoughts, right? And that leads to actions, and it leads to wonderful things or negative things, depending on whether you fuel the negative thoughts or the positive thoughts. And I like how you really described, look, you can control those thoughts. Don't just, when you observe them first, then how do you replace it with a positive thought? And again, I was very skeptical when I first heard this, but I really practice it now and say, look, what I think about is really ultimately going to manifest, right? What you think about usually manifests in some shape or form. So I really like how you're saying, really think about what's bubbling up and how can you control it. And the vision I got as you've been talking the last 5 minutes is almost the eye of the hurricane, right? Where you're that person who's like, no matter what's going on around you, you're able to control your own demeanor and be in control of what you do and say. And so I work with a lot of CEOs, business leaders, and the ones who have that ability to, no matter what's going on, they can maintain a calm demeanor are always, to me, the ones who are successful in the long term, right? So this applies to me to everyday living. And again, I've been in so many situations where business leaders have exploded to a certain extent verbally or whatever it is. And the ripple effect to the rest of the individuals, it could be thousands of people, is huge, right? So this is where the ripple effect of what you're talking about can be massively positive if you practice. And it's a journey, as you always talk about.
Yeah. Well, mind is a very powerful tool. You have a choice whether to feed the mind with negativity or the positivity. If you continue to feed your mind with negativity, then you're going to become a negative person. Once you become a negative person, you're going to lose everything, including yourself. You're going to hate yourself. Nobody is loving you. Nobody's getting closer to me. Everybody's running away from me. What's wrong with me? So you need to make your mind a magnet of good things, positive things, kindness, compassion. Once you become a flower or magnet of positivity, like smiling, being kind, being polite, being generous, helping others. These are what I call the nectar, making the mind a flower full of nectar. And then in the environment, of course, there are all kinds of, let's say, hummingbird, maybe the bees, they're looking for nectar, right? And once they detect a beautiful flower with nectar of kindness, happiness, smile, laughter, positivity, politeness, respect, and guess what? They are going to land on you. You don't need to go after them. You don't need to seek them. Actually, they are seeking you. This could apply to anyone in the world. Of course, you know me for some years now. Your wife comes to my meditation class. You came to meditation class. And your brother-in-law comes to my meditation class. Even he came to meditation class yesterday. So now you have seen people from all walks of life and how they come here to practice meditation, how they come here with a great interest. I never invited them, but they are seeking something like this. When you begin the meditation class with a smile, you have seen how I look around with the biggest smile. That's enough. That melts all the stress built up in their mind.
Yeah, no, it's been really powerful because again, I've kind of observed you virtually. I've come to the temple a couple of times, and I see that all walks of life, and you always have this big radiating smile, which you have right now. And I work with another amazing lady, Ann Gomez, who always, she uses this test. If you walk by somebody and you have a big smile on your face, you're almost guaranteed to get that smile in return, right? So that's another choice you intentionally make. And as business leaders, I like the nectar example because a lot of organizations are facing what they call the great resignation, people leaving and they can't keep talent. This is another way to attract and retain amazing talent. And I had a wonderful opportunity to interview the ex-president of Starbucks. And he was always put people first. Right. And again, it's very closely aligned. I mean, you're using different language and stuff, but it's like, think about other people first and treat everybody with kindness, respect, humility. It's not I'm the CEO and I'm the boss. It's completely the opposite, which is so well aligned. And that's why I really want to almost connect this to, look, this is not just for people seeking things. It's in business. It's in everyday life, which you just said.
Well, when you smile all the time, it doesn't mean you don't have any negative experiences. When you live in the society, when you have this interpersonal relationship, let's say now teacher and student, parents and children, husband and wife, friend and colleague, these are interpersonal relationships. So when you interact with the society, and go through these interpersonal relationships, there is a possibility of going through some hard time. But when you go through that hard time, it's a personal choice you make. Should I give in to this pressure or should I not? But if you give in to the pressure with negative mindset, then you're going to get sucked into it. But when you smile, despite all this, and you just have this wisdom, what is the wisdom? Everything is in flux. Everything is changing. Everything is impermanent.
So what's that balance, right? So let's say, a challenging situation happens, like somebody
Yes.
passes away that wasn't expected or something. And so I understand what you're saying. Okay, we have a choice on how we deal with it. So what's the balance between, look, acknowledging it's a time of sorrow or and then eventually working through it? Like what would your approach or advice be to people?
Well, my advice to people is okay, true. First, you need to understand, accept the fact it is what it is. And the truth is not under your control. Reality is not under your control. Reality is reality. Truth is truth. Observe that reality with wisdom. And then if there is something to be done for that person, then you just attend to that and do it. Okay, now if somebody dies, okay, it's very hard for me, but I understand the fact that this person is no more. Now, what are the rites and rituals? What can I do there? So when you do some meaningful things, then it becomes healing for you. So this is what I have done personally, and this is what I always encourage people to do. And do something positive, transform your mind through the positive actions. So now there could be many kinds of positive actions. It depends on culture to culture. These rituals, practices, meaningful things differ from culture to culture, society to society. So whatever they are, and try to attend to them.
Yeah, no, I really like how you're saying, look, you're then turning it into positive and taking some kind of positive action. And it could be many different things, but it's transforming that sorrow into, hey, what can I do that's meaningful? And the term meaningful work comes up a lot in my business. Are we doing meaningful work? Right. And that's such a powerful concept.
Yeah.
So another concept you talk about is letting go of the outcome, right? And again, that's one of the things that a lot of people in business or in life struggle with. Can you talk a little bit about the power of letting go?
Well, I normally do a demonstration. Ron, I'm going to ask you to hold a pen, maybe like this, pen. Okay, Ron, you are a young man, very strong. I would say you're still a young man. Okay, you're smiling. So you know that this pen is not that heavy, right? And you're strong. Let me see how long you can hold this pen, although it's not heavy. Now I'm pretty sure you're feeling something on your right hand, right?
Yeah.
And it's starting to hurt. The pain is increasing. Now it's increasing up to your arm, right? So now pain is becoming kind of intense. It hasn't been even a minute, right? So now imagine you keep holding this pen like this for the whole week, whole month, whole year. Probably you're going to lose your healthy right hand. Now you have to understand, you have to be mindful. Oh, where does this pain come from? I think this pain is coming from holding this pen. Then you need to bring kindness into your life. You need to really care for yourself. You need to be kind to yourself. Okay, if you're really loving yourself, you're being kind to yourself, if you know where this pain is coming from, if you know it is coming from holding the pen, now what do you do with the pen? If it is not yours, you can put it aside.
Put it down. Yeah.
Oh, Although it is yours, now put it down. You don't have to hold it up all the time. Now what happened to your right hand?
No, it felt better, right? And that's that's powerful. And even as you were talking, even when you said the word, it's in your arm, it's in your shoulder, I felt it at that moment. So again, it shows how powerful the mind is. And that's such a powerful lesson in life in general, is being able to, as you said, life always changing, doing what you can through positive actions, but then letting go of the outcome. It's such a relief. It's such a peaceful feeling. You know, look, you put in your best. So this time has absolutely flown by. If you're open to it, I'm going to have you on again. But I'd love you to end with any last words. And what we will do is we'll share your YouTube channel, your Facebook page. I think it's amazing because you're helping people around the world. But any last words or anything else you'd like to share with my audience?
Well, I would like to share this wisdom. Maybe it's kind of some people, it's going to be a wake-up call for everyone, okay? 3 things. Always remember, no matter who we are, how powerful we are, where we live, what we do, or how much we have, how much we don't have, as human beings, one thing to keep in mind, one day, we all are going to say goodbye to one another. We are going to die one day. But before we die, we have to do something meaningful, good things for others. So you could do a lot of good things for others. But if you don't believe in doing meaningful things for others, at least try not to hurt anyone, including yourself. That's all I want to say.
Perfect. No, and look, I really appreciate it. It's been such a joy to see you helping the world. And I know you do missions around the world. You help people in around the world, but I've also participated in days where you've helped, unhoused people in Toronto, and you're having an amazing impact on the world. And I really congratulate you, admire you, and I want more and more people to see what one individual can do to change the world. So continue to inspire us, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ron, for having me on your podcast. And I would like to congratulate you for having this podcast. I think you're helping everyone. Even doing this podcast is a way of doing something meaningful. Now, through this conversation, you never know, at least one or two or few people would benefit from this conversation. It's going to inspire them. It's going to motivate them. They are going to be grateful to you. So you're doing some meaningful, keep doing all the meaningful things for others, and always choose to be kindful. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ron.